Welcome back. I'm Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. After confirming its attack on the Iranian ship near Sri Lankan coast, the US has now released a video of the attack on the Iranian ship. The video shows the exact moment of the attack. In the video, the US submarine fires a torpedo at the ship. This video, released by the United States Department of War, confirms its attack near Sri Lanka's coast. Commodore Anil Jay Singh, defense analyst, is joining us live in the broadcast. Commodore Singh, what do you make of this video now released by the United States of America?
Well, the US has certainly claimed that one of its submarines has sunk this Iranian frigate Iris Dina off the coast of Sri Lanka. And as I understand, this was the frigate which represented the Iranian Navy at the recently concluded International Fleet Review in Visakhapatnam on the 16th of February, and was perhaps on its return passage to Iran. Now, when she must have sailed from Iran, perhaps she was not fully armed because she was coming for a benign activity like an International Fleet Review, but was now returning to a theater of war. And obviously, she must have been tracked by the US submarine, which knew she was going to take this passage back. And at the moment an opportunity presented itself, obviously the US submarine carried out a torpedo attack and sank this ship. And I believe only 32 people have been rescued so far, and more than 80 are feared dead. Now, an incident like this has two or three connotations. Firstly, it is very high on the escalation matrix. This is an all-out attack, naval attack, much outside Iranian waters and international waters, carried out by the US. It's not entirely unexpected because when two countries are at war, anything goes. But also what is concerning is that, an action like this happening so close to our waters could give a different twist to this conflict, in the sense that, if the area of operation spreads, if the maritime battle space spreads, it could spread eastwards from Iran towards India and towards the towards our waters in south, and the central Indian Ocean south of Sri Lanka. So I think it's a disconcerting thing. It's not entirely unexpected. There was an Iranian warship. There was a US submarine. The two countries are at war. And therefore
this certainly shows that the theater of war has expanded, Commodore Sodi, as well. Right now, it was, of course, on land. And, if we talk about waters, it was the Strait of Hormuz that was closed. But now the theater of war has fast expanded.
Yeah, that's true.
Commodore D.S. Sodi, defense expert. That question is for you, sir.
That's true. It's very evident that the theater has expanded. Earlier, everybody was confined to us looking at the things happening at Strait of Hormuz. And as Commodore Ajay Singh has brought out, the ship was on the way back to Iran. You see, the submarines have a very their own way of tracking the ships and doing their role. So the American submarine would have been tracking this ship on the way to Iran, and maybe at the place what is being talked about, the area which is talked about off Sri Lanka, but it would have been in the international waters where the torpedo would have been fired. You see, being a submariner, I have also seen that when we decommission a ship, generally we take the ship to deep sea and then we fire a torpedo and sink that ship. So I have seen one of that firing of a torpedo, it breaks the ship into two. So in this case also, the ship would have been very badly damaged, and maybe the crew who would have just jumped out of the ship, they would have been saved, but a lot of lives would have been lost, and the ship would have been have sunk. And whatever is being released by the US, maybe the submarine who fired the torpedo would have taken maybe a clip of that.
All right, more breaking news, in fact, also coming in now. The United States of America has released a map noting the 100 hours of epic fury. This map is a full timeline of the operation so far. The US claims that the mission's objectives are yet to be met. The map, of course, released shows airstrikes across Iran and where they've actually happened. So the United States of America was briefing the media. The Pentagon was speaking with the media just a short while back about Operation Fury. And now they have detailed where exactly the strikes have happened, all that has happened so far in the conflict through this map that they've released as well, Commodore Singh.
Yes, in fact, certainly I think this was important basically to give credibility to their claims of what all they have done and what all they have attacked and where they stand in this conflict. So I think that is very important, and America has been very transparent about that. Coming back to the submarine attack, you mentioned something about expanding the area of the battle space. A lot of it will depend on Iran's capacity to take this war forward and how far and forward can it take it. Because, the presence of a U.S. submarine is not surprising. The U.S. is positioned to carrier battle group. Carrier battle groups are always accompanied by nuclear attack submarines, which the U.S. has about 40 of. And therefore, it is not surprising that they decided to track this submarine, this Iranian frigate by a U.S. submarine, and when an opportunity presented itself. In any case, in our waters, a submarine has an inherent advantage, range advantage over, detection range advantage over a surface ship. The hydrology of the Indian Ocean is such. So despite the fact that Iris Dina has sonars, has a helicopter, has torpedoes on board, it may just not have detected the presence of a submarine, which was able to carry out an attack from a standoff range. So that is quite possible. So whenever the U.S. submarine must have been tracking it, and when it thought was the opportune moment, or probably got clearance from the higher authorities to carry out this attack, it did so. But whether it will expand the area of operation of the maritime battle space remains to be seen, and it will depend on how far and how long can Iran sustain a battle in the maritime battle space. Because I understand the U.S. has already claims to have already sunk 10 warships of the Iranian Navy. They mentioned that earlier. So if that is the case, then the Iranian Navy's war-waging potential would be quite badly damaged already. So let's see how it pans out now in the next day or two.
Yes, indeed. Also, Commodore Sodhi, the fact is that the perception also is very important. That is also a different kind of psychological warfare, which is why we've seen these constant statements from the US President and others in his administration, and these briefings as well from Pentagon. Now a map released as well. What do you make of what they've shown in this map on Operation Rapid Fury?
Yes, the statements which have come from the United States, they have been talking about hitting approximately 2,000 targets in Iran. And also the briefings which are coming from the United States, they are making very, very clear statements with regard to achieving their objectives. They have been talking about that if the leader has changed, who is going to be now coming up as the next supreme leader, even they will eliminate him. And they are making statements and using the word that they will kill him. So there also has the psychological war is there now. There have been earlier reports that even a submarine, Iranian submarine, has also been sunk. So how far it is true as of now, only the reports are there. But the fact is that the United States and Israel, both of them are committed, and they have decided that they are going to achieve their objectives come what may.
Commodore Sodhi and Commodore Singh, appreciate you joining us with your perspectives on this.